Hello, my name is BB, and we are back for another episode. This is episode 3 now, and we are returning. So, I had some unfortunate news coming into this episode. At one point in time, my game crashed, and I don't know what that meant for the game, but it did, however, reset all of my advancements. So, if we go and look at the advancements, I just picked up a stone pickaxe to make sure I got that, and then these ones I made an iron pick because I have a lot of iron, picked up some diamonds, picked up a bucket of lava, and grabbed an iron ingot. But it says we haven't picked up a bee's nest or planted some seeds or um, done some other things, which we've definitely bred some animals. And if you take a look around, I have a field over here. If you right out of view, right over there that clearly we've planted some seeds. And so I'm going to be taking a little bit of time maybe at some point and making sure my things are updated, but it says we haven't gone to the nether, and we go to the nether in this episode. So we've clearly been there too. There's a lot of things it says we haven't done, but we have done. I just got Monster Hunter and Sleeping Through the Night advancements. So that's great. But we are going to go through some farms in this episode. We are definitely going to be looking at this village that I built also. So there's some things we've got to get to doing in this episode. So first off, we're probably going to start with the beginning of the village building. So let's go with that. See you in a bit. Okay, so I did a little bit of terraforming around here. As you can tell, I did push back some of these areas and then I stopped where I think I'm going to be building later. A lot of these houses are laid out. Some of the houses are designated for certain jobs. As you can tell, like some of them are laid out like this. A couple of these are laid out like the normal villages are laid out. Some of these I have specific plans for. The armor houses are looked kind of like the armor houses you find in natural villages, just with a different color texture. I do have these laid out for bees, so those two are laid out for bees over here. And then I do kind of have a plan coming for this house over here, which I think is going to be a pumpkin and melon house. Um, I did have some farms laid out, but they all kind of have the same kind of color scheme, the bone blocks, the deep slate, and the wood. And then I do have this farm laid out over here, which I'm probably going to have the farmers over in this house. And then I just built that one for food, but I'll probably have butchers over there somewhere near the food. That's pretty much what I have. I eventually want the village to kind of go up in this direction a little bit, and also probably going to be, since I pushed back this area back a little bit and gave it a little bit of a walkway, we're probably going to be doing more stuff up here as well, probably connecting some buildings to my tower so it doesn't look so flat on the side. Which we do end up doing later in this episode. So we'll work on that also. So I'm pretty much going to work on these villager houses until they are all the way built up and ready to go and looking good, and maybe put some villagers inside of them so we can work on some armor. And hopefully the next time I come back, I have better armor. Okay, so we have this large area here. I've cleared out some of it. It's not going to be this flat. As we move forward in the episode, I'll kind of terrain it a little bit. Um, but so this is what the old village is looking like. But I'm not a big oak fan, contrary to my starter house. I'm not a huge oak fan if I don't have to use it. So what I'm planning to do is I'm gonna kind of make this area slope in a better way, and then we're going to build houses along this kind of color scheme over here. So I'm going to kind of plan out where I want houses, kind of terrain it as I move along, and then I'll move up this way and then replace these houses over here and move villagers inside of it. Like I mentioned in the last episode, I'm going to open up this area here so we can add a walkway coming out from my tower over here, so that it's connected to the village. And hopefully when I come back and show you, we're going to have more houses that kind of have this color scheme moving up here, and I'll show you before I start building them what we're kind of looking at, what we're kind of looking to see. And I'll probably be using copper also for the roof. So all the roofs. So I will come back and show you what our plan is in a little bit, and hopefully I have a little bit more done to show you. So we will come back and show you what it looks like in a little bit. But that's what we're going to be doing, is getting the houses ready and getting the villagers moved in so we have some trades. So as you can see, I have better armor, and my surroundings are also different. They are very different. They are very, very, very hot compared to what they were in the last clip. So I decided while building that I wanted to go to the Nether. I was getting a little bored. I'd been building for about 4 days real time, and I was like, let's go have a little scope out in the Nether. That was my plan. Kind of take a little look around, see where we could possibly want to live, somewhere nearby the portal that's a good spot. So I headed to the Nether. And as we know, like soul sand valleys like really aren't my forte, probably not a whole lot of people's forte. Unless you have like soul speed boots, but it's hard to get that right away in the beginning just because typically you pretty much always I think you get that from piglins. And I don't have a piglin farm yet, so I don't really have a way to get soul sand or soul speed boots. And a couple of my iron golems had somehow wandered into the nether and died, so that's why I picked up an iron ingot here. But hopping around soul sand isn't really my favorite thing in the world, especially when you're being attacked by gas, which predominantly I feel like spawn in soul sand valleys. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure they predominantly spawn in soul sand valleys. So I just want to have a little look around. I still want to be near the nether portal, just because for ease of use, like I don't want to have to build a whole another nether portal to get home if I want to get there. But I did want to have a little look around, and I found this nether fortress. And where I spawned, where I landed was pretty much right into a blaze spawner, which you could take it as a good thing or you can take it as a bad thing. It was great, and the idea of it was pretty great. But seeing as I clearly didn't bring enough arrows to the nether, it's not going to be that great. I don't really have a way to protect myself outside of this little house that I could possibly build. But coming into the nether and going right into a blaze farm every single time I get there, it's not really a great option. And there's not really a way to get over them to use my sword, and I'm gonna run out of arrows if I continuously shoot them. And they have to have a really huge light level to not spawn in that area anymore. I think it's like light level 11 you need everywhere around, otherwise they're gonna spawn. So I don't really have any good options for coming into this blaze spawner right now. This is kind of a really horrible spot to be right next to, but I'm not gonna like move my portal to be on a different side. I'm gonna leave my portal where it is. I just happen to get the luck of being right next to another fortress. So I'm gonna farm some blazes for a while and probably get some blaze rods so that I can make a brewing stand so that I can use that for a villager, because I don't have that right now. So we're just gonna farm some blazes for a while. Blazes for So I'm having a slight issue, and this little slight issue is causing me a lot of problems. And that issue is some of the villagers are free roam in their houses. So I have them so where they can't get out of the house, but they still open their door. And at night, this has become a problem. And this has become a problem in ways such as this. The villagers have left their door open at night and become zombie villagers. I think he's okay. But they left their things open at night and become zombie villagers, which is not great for me because then I have to go back and fix them, and there's two of them in there. So both my leather workers are zombie villagers right now. And some of them have done that. Some of them I was smart enough to cage them in and not make them free roam, such as my clerics who are locked in their little areas and they can't get out. And that's great because nothing's getting in, nothing's getting out, nobody's dying. It's fantastic. But in the meantime, while I get everybody enclosed into their houses so that this doesn't happen again, I need to fix the ones that made that mistake and left their doors open. And even though I keep yelling at them, stop leaving your doors open, they don't listen to me. So unfortunately, this means that I have to go back into the nether and try to find some nether wart so we can cure them. Because I'm really tired of of letting. I've come to the point where I have enough villagers to when they turn, I just let them out, they burn, I put a new one in there. But I don't want to do that anymore because I've gotten them up to a decent amount of trades, and I just, I don't want to keep killing them. I just want to let them be them and not have to cure them anymore, and them not getting hurt and them not getting chained. I just don't want to go through the whole process. So I did make these because I did have blaze rods, but when I made this, I forgot that I needed nether wart, and I realized I have to go back to the fortress, which I'm not too excited about. Um, but I think it's a sacrifice we have to make, unfortunately. Which means I need to make more torches. And I really don't ever want to go to the nether on camera just because I'm nervous I'm gonna die there, and I don't really want to die there. But I'm nervous I'm gonna die there, and I want to make sure that it's seen if I do. Okay. Let's head to the nether. I am gonna build these little hiding spots while I travel throughout the nether. I wouldn't call them hiding spots. I'd call them like little covers, like I'm gonna build them throughout this little platform so that if I need to run back and hide from a wither skeleton or a blaze, I have protection on either sides from like the three tall skeletons can't get in here, and also the blazes to like hide away from to the side if I need to, just because it seems like a smart decision. So I am gonna build this as I go along throughout the fortress, just for my own safety, as I either now or when I come back. Clearly, I made a mistake here with him jumping over. Um, Apparently, I built it to where he could jump up onto the top of it, and oh, now I can't go fix it just yet. I have to kill him first, and then I will fix that so that he can't jump on top of it, because that kind of defeats the purpose for my safety. I'm gonna go back and fix that really quick. Awesome. Um, and now he can't jump up on here and scare me if he needs to. So I'm gonna build these so that I can protect myself, and then we're just gonna go have a little look around the Nether Fortress around here and see what we can find. Hopefully some Nether wart, but we'll see what we can find. So we are heading home with an unsuccessful attempt of finding nether wart. It must just be the fact that that fortress does not have one. Not like a huge deal. Those villagers will probably just have to stay zombie villagers for right now. And then hopefully sometime in the future we'll go back to the nether, take a look around, and find some. However, on the bright side, I did find this. And while some of you might be like, well, you didn't get the wood, you just got the block. I have news for you. I'm going to make a farm with this, and then we can make the wood ourselves. We don't even need the wood from the nether. We can have the wood in the overworld. So, while I'm building the villager houses, it'll probably throw a little clip in here of me building the Crimson Farm because it's super easy to build. I did watch it in the past from a Pixel Riffs video. So that is the reason I even know about this farm, and I'm going to build it so that we can also throw in some roofs with this wood because it'll blend in perfectly with the blue copper. I think it complements each other really well, and it's actually exactly what I wanted. So I'm glad we found it. I did also find the red crimson, but as you can see, I debated pillaring up. But knowing my luck, there would have been a skeleton at the top, knocked me off, and then I would have died. So I'm going to continue building the village houses, leave the zombie villagers alone, and then get this Crimson Farm built up so we can use that for the wood. So I found this bee's nest. I'm not actually sure if there's any bees in it, just because I don't hear any. But we can always take it and then get some bees later. I also found this wide open cave right next to it, so and I do need slime at some point, so I'm thinking this cave would be nice to go look for some slime. But really all I'm really looking for right now is some bees, so I don't see any in there right now, or I don't hear any in there right now, so I'm not actually sure if there's any in there. I could always take it and go look for another one, but I don't mind. I mean, I'm scared to knock it down just in case there's some in there and they get angry. I'm debating doing it anyway, though. Hey, as far as I know, there's no bees in there. Now I'm gonna go look for another one. I think there was one over here somewhere. When we were out adventuring in the beginning on episode 1, I saw a bee's nest over here, so I mean, you could always just go look for another one. Hopefully there'll be bees in that one. Ah, I remember seeing this one. But I still don't hear any bees inside of it, which doesn't seem like a good sign to me. And I don't see any bees like wandering around. We'll take them, and then hopefully we'll find some bees somewhere. Hopefully, somewhere, there's some bees. Just because I could get that part of the village taken care of, because I really want to use the honey blocks for, or the honeycomb for the copper, because there's a lot of copper roofs, because that's pretty much the main thing I'm using. So, stay tuned, I'll let you know if I find any bees. And I've been noticing these bees just roaming around over here, but I haven't been able to find their nest. So I'm not sure if they just don't have one or if they can't locate one to go to. So what I was thinking is I could put one, oh, that's why. I could put one there and maybe they'll migrate towards it was my thought, but now that I see that one, I know that they have a home. But I only see one. I swear I saw more than one within the last couple days, but I only see that one. Oh, yay, two. Come here, baby. One, and then we'll two. Now we at least have 3 bees. And hopefully they'll stick around in the area and not get lost. We have 3 separate nests that won't go on top of each other, so I'm assuming it's because they're different. One of them must be empty, and then the other 2 have bees in them. So I'm going to relocate them to the place in the village-ish, kind of right outside the village, so that I can start getting some honey going, and that'll be great. So I'm going to go relocate them to their new home and add some flowers and maybe give them a greenhouse looking thing, and I will show you what that looks like in just a moment. As you can see, as I'm surrounded by many bees, this is going to be the one that we have for the honeycomb. So I have over here we have shears, a lot of shears since we have shepherds we can buy them from, and then I have honeycomb that I've gotten from the hives. I have these other ones in here just to make sure I can breed and put more bees in there and then transfer them over to this other building over here, which is where we will use we will get the bottles from them. So I have the bottles over here, so then you can have that. You can also automate it. I don't need as much as the point where I need it to be automated. Maybe eventually we'll automate it, but this is what the little bee houses look like right now. And then hopefully in the future, if we need to, we can get it automated, but it looks pretty good right now, and that's what we've got going on this part of the farm. Okay, because my recording didn't save in my survival world, I just wanted to run you through what I actually did for this pumpkin and melon farm so you kind of have a little bit of an idea. So you're just not like, oh, this building popped up, what's here? So I was just going to show you kind of what I did so that you know in my survival world what's what and where's what. So I'm just going to give you a little bit of what I did in the pumpkin and melon farm. This is from a very old, when I say very old, I mean like a very old um, video of Pixel Riffs from a very long time ago. I think probably from his survival guide, the first one. So this is pretty much what you're gonna need outside of a hopper probably and a chest. So I'll show you that when we get there. But what I did is put that off there, get some dirt. So what I did was I basically have you basically just have to have um, the water go all the way down. So wherever it ends up is where the chest is gonna be. So we're gonna have the hoppers and the chests go there. In the back here, we are gonna have 5 of these pistons here off to the side, so that when the pumpkin or melon grows in front of this observer block, the piston will push it off and push it into this water stream where the hopper and chest will collect it down there. So if we just come here and grab sure. We just hoe these spots right in front of the observer. We find some melon seeds here somewhere. And we put the melon seeds here after we've hoed the ground. And then in the back, you just basically want these to go every other. So on the bottom top, all the way across, so that when the redstone is placed here, it'll trigger, or whenever this block triggers, it'll trigger both of these pistons off to the side. So to test that, this is actually like this. So to test that, all I have to do is update that block. So what we do is in the survival world, all I did was bone meal this, and as you can see, it triggers both the pistons next to it. And then down here, all we want is not TNT, all we want is a chest. So we'll just put this chest here, and then we'll put these down here. So when this comes and flows from any point, it'll flow down there and get picked up in the hopper and put into the chest. So that's basically what we did on both sides, except one side is a melon, and then we have an empty space where the redstone is, and then we have another pumpkin farm on the other side. So if you do this to all of them, it pushes it off, pushes it in there, as you can see. And then you also, what I did is you want blocks over here to make sure that the blocks don't come off onto the side here and stick there. And also down here where I put some trapdoors here, because you don't want them getting stuck down here either. And as tall as you have it, you also want to build these blocks up so that the melons or pumpkins don't get stuck. Sometimes they do get stuck right on the end of this chest here if you don't have anything blocking off the hoppers. And that's where the trapdoors come in, because I will stick them here so that the melons or pumpkins will hit this back and go right into the hopper. So that's basically what we built in the survival world. I just wanted to give you guys a little quick run through just because my recording didn't save, and I wanted you guys to know what we were building and when we were building it. So that's what we have here, is a melon farm on this side and a pumpkin farm on this side, and I will shoot back over to the survival world so that I can give you a little look into what I built over there. So over here, back into the survival world, if we walk over, I can always get discombobulated in this little area. So if we run over to the same area that we were in the creative world, like I said, I have trapdoors all the way up. And then if we open these up, you can see this is the pumpkin side. So we've got all of our observers over here. We have all of our pumpkins grown. And then we do have the piston so that if it goes off, it'll push the pumpkins into here. Like you can see, the pumpkins are in here and it's doing really well. And then on the same thing over here, we do have the melon side. Because it's not silk touched, they will come in as normal melons. So you just have to have them. I always have a crafting table nearby so that I can just pop over here and make them into melons. So that's basically what we did for the pumpkin and melon farm so that we can use that to trade with our farmers. So that's nearby. Typically when I'm in this area, since I've been working in this area a lot, as you can see, the copper has changed a lot, and the orange copper roofs are the ones that I've built the most recent. So I've been over here quite a lot, so the roofs have changed, and the pumpkin and melon farm has been working very well. So that's just what's over here in this big, very tall building. I didn't allow for much room in the middle, so we just had to connect them with the roof here, and it does look pretty big from the bottom part. But I think it kind of fits in. I used the nether wood on the roof just because once the copper roofs change, it does give a little bit of a color change, but as you can see, it's pretty close in color and I kind of like it. So that is what we have in the middle here, and that's what we've got going. So after the bees and the melons, what I've been thinking that we should work on next is we should just keep the flow of farms going this episode. We worked on the village is all good to go, outside of a couple villagers being placed. But what I'm thinking is this. So I have this little patch of sugarcane that I've been growing for the librarians that I have in here. But every time I come over and manually harvest it, I get about 40 sugarcane, which turns into 39 paper, which is only good for about one trade. with uncured villagers. So what I'm thinking is we create an automatic sugarcane farm because, everything's about ease. I made the pumpkin and melon farm for ease of myself. I don't have to harvest it every time it grows. I can just come over here, pop this open, and grab a pumpkin. That's fine. So what I'm thinking is either right here or somewhere in the house somewhere, which I probably won't put it in the house because we already have a lot of farms going in there, the iron farm, the skeleton farm, and we got some chickens in the basement. I'm thinking we put it right here somewhere and we make a sugarcane farm. So I'm going to get my thoughts together, get the stuff I need, and then we will meet back here and possibly put together a sugarcane farm. So we have finished the sugarcane farm. So this is what it looks like at the end. It's just a basic sugarcane farm, like I said. I didn't watch any tutorials just because it's a pretty easy farm to build without any help. You just want to make sure that the observer blocks get triggered with redstone that is behind them. So we have some redstone behind these blocks here. I don't have anything on me to get rid of it, but we have some redstone back here to block that off. And then whenever a sugarcane grows up to the top of the observer, it triggers it. They fall into this water line that pushes them into here. And we already have 44 so far. So this sugarcane is the last thing that we need to do so far for the village that we have going. We finished the bee farm today and the pumpkin and melon farm today, and this week entirely I worked on the village. So everything is looking to be done over here. We'll see what we get to do up to next week, and hopefully you come back with me. But I really appreciate you watching this video with me today if you stuck around until the end. But hopefully you return back with me next week and we get to doing some more cool things together. I'm not sure what we'll be working on, but if you have any suggestions, go ahead and leave it below in the comments and maybe we'll work on that next week. But thanks for coming, and I really appreciate you hanging around, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Bye!